Jai Gurudev, everybody, welcome again. So, today was a busy day. Today was interesting because there was, on the YouTube, somebody sent me a very beautiful link. Also about, it is an eye-opening actually. It's called The Planets of the Humans, or Planets of the Humans. It's interesting to see, how human mind function, especially when we see when somebody is running towards just materialism and really just want things for one personal gratification. If you have not watched it, it will be lovely to see that, And yeah, so let's ask a question.
Guruji, I often notice you speak truths about our life in an indirect way. Is there a reason why you do not always speak directly, and how can we better understand what you say in this indirect way?
Repeat.
I often notice you speak truths about our life in an indirect way. Is there a reason why you do not always speak directly, and how can we better understand what you say in this indirect way?
That is true, actually. You see, like I said, often people like to hear what they want to hear. If you tell them directly something, they will not like to hear it. And of course, when you tell the truth to somebody directly on the face, they will be in shock. That's why you have to take them gradually. Like a child, you have to take them and bring them where they have to be. You see, the role of the Guru is to bring everybody to the lotus feet of Sriman Narayana. This is the aim of life, If life doesn't have an aim, it's like a ship which is in the middle of the ocean without a compass. It will keep turning around, So, like that, when you're ready to hear the truth, then the Guru will tell you directly, this is it. But are you in that level to really understand that truth? Because you see, the truth doesn't mean that what you want to hear. Because you see, in the mind of people, they have a certain conceptualized of what spirituality have to be, or what their life have to be, or how some things have to be. And they keep moving towards that. And when this is not according to what they perceived or what they want to hear, that means, no, I'm not interested in that. And this you can see in the world itself. Majority of the people is like that. But they like to be flattered. Now, they like to hear their own glory. Now, they like people to tell them nice things about them. You befriend a friend, and you like your friend to always tell you what you want to hear. But when that friend will tell you, if it is a true friend, will tell you the truth, you will not like to hear, because it will be hurtful. So that's why, you see, for people not to be discouraged upon the journey, the Guru hide into the message the truth itself. And if you analyze it and really go deeper into that, then you will notice that whatever he has spoken about me. He has talked something for me to grow. But until your mind have not set into that position of understanding the truth, of course the world of delusion is wonderful. And that majority of people lived into that delusion. And in Bhagavad Gita, Canto 2, verse 62 actually, Bhagavan Krishna said how the mind is, the deluded mind itself, how one come to a state of perdition, how one fall from where they are until they lose themselves completely, You see, when he said, through attachment to an object, when the mind is fully absorbed into remembering this object, you get attached to that object. What arises is desire. And from desire, anger arises. So one becomes angry because that desire is not fulfilled. So when this anger is there, what happened? One go into delusion. The next chapter, the next verse, he said, one go into delusion. And when one go into delusion, one lose the capacity of thinking. When one lose the capacity of thinking, one lose the capacity of discrimination. And when one lose that capacity of discrimination, one is lost completely. So when we see that, this is a journey itself, how one fall down. One drag themselves down. Because you see, who is dragging who down? Nobody else, apart from yourself. Because everything is like a seed inside of the mind. Your mind, your thoughts is a very creative thoughts. So you create things. Every thought that arises inside of you is a thought which you create. And you run towards what you have created. So you see, in that thought which you have created, you want to hear what you want to hear. So if the Guru come and tell you the truth straight away, if you are not prepared to hear the truth, what will be your reaction? Your reaction will be, I run away. He's not real. He's not telling me what I want to hear. He's not good person. He don't know anything. Then doubt arises inside of you. So in place of enjoying your spiritual path and go deeper into that, you start to move away. Until one day you realize, when the situation changed, you realize, yes, what he has said was for my own benefit. But it is a journey, of transcending the ego, like I was telling you earlier, from the verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Canto 2, verse 62, you see clearly how the mind get deluded by things when you want to hear what you want to hear. You get attached to them. It's so beautifully how Bhagavan described that, how Lord Krishna described it in that verse itself. Look at the mind itself, when you have an object that you're concentrating upon that, you want that object. This is normal. It's a human thing. When you want something, your mind is fully absorbed into what you want. And so when the mind is fully absorbed into what you want, that thing that you want become the object of your full focus and concentration. So when that thing becomes the object of your full concentration, because it is a thing, it is not, we are not talking about God, we are talking about something which is material. Something what you want to hear, which will be pleasing to you. Something which is making you feel happy about. So what happened? A certain desire arises inside. So that desire, when it arises, you feel, that things belong to me, It is mine. I'm madly, I want to possess this thing. I want to have it. And if that thing, you don't have it, what happens? You get angry. This is a natural state that you feel start to get angry. If you don't understand what the Guru have said to you and see it into your perspective, if you don't want to listen to what the Guru said to you, you will become angry. So when you get angry, then you are deluded. Then you will start to think that you are right. He don't know anything. So then you start to become deluded into your own understanding of things. So when the mind starts being deluded into that, then what happens? Then you stop the way of thinking. You can't think. The loss of memory, that's what Bhagavan said. One lost this capacity of discrimination. Even if the Guru have said something for you to understand it, due to that loss of memory, so you lose that conscience inside of you. So you see, what gives you the power to discriminate is that conscience inside. So through the conscience, you know what is good and what is not good. So when you do something bad, you will be, you yourself, your conscience will reproach, and send a message to your mind that is not good. So you will feel it. But when that is gone, then it is finished. So you see, what the Guru does, it takes you on a journey of accepting, firstly, how you are, accepting what he's giving you. Is because at the beginning you will not accept it, because this is a state of rebellious, you rebelled. So in that way, for you not to fall into delusion, for you not to fall into even perdition, because they see sometimes you will not understand what the Guru does for you. Even Jesus, when he was alive, whatever he was talking always in parables. I mean, he could not understand, and those who understand it really surrender to him. Why do you think he did that? It's not because they could not, they will not listen, but you see clearly in his life itself. He did so many miracles, he did so many things in front of them, but yet, when he was crucified, he was alone. So it is the same thing for the people not to make any offenses. The Guru takes them on a journey. Because if you will tell them the truth directly, it would not make any sense for their mind. First, that mind must be transformed. That mind must be changed. And how you will change that mind, it will only, like it said in Bhagavatam, chapter 7, Canto 7, chapter 5, verse 23, is only by having that 9th form of devotion. When you understand that 9th step in devotion, the 9th aspect of devotion, chanting the name of God, first listening the name of God, Smarana, Kirtana, singing the glory of God, and remembering him by listening of his glories, by being in his remembrance. Pada Seva, meaning service to his lotus feet, to the feet of the Master. Smarana, where that deeper remembrance of him bring that bliss inside of you. And Archana, Manam, which means constant offering. Here it said Archana means to offer flowers to the Lord. It is a service to Bhagavan itself. But what awake inside, what the feeling of being in service to him, dasya. So then what awake is that friendship to the Lord, but Bhagavan is not something which is far away. First I'm in servitude to him, this is life itself. Then you have that I am his dear friend, he's dear to me. That dearness remove that difference between, he's far away. In distance it is far away, yes, but in the heart he's not. So you feel that, that yes, he's my dearest one, and whatever he does, it is for my own benefit. Then Atmanivedan awake, which means my complete surrender with love and devotion to the lotus feet, of the Master. So it's the journey of trust itself, which the Master carry the disciple step by step, for them not to fall into delusion, for them not to say, okay, yes, finish, let me go. That's why the Master speak in a certain way, not directly, indirectly, but the truth is there. If you trust and you move on that path, then you will see that whatever he have done was only for your sake. But you must be patient, because this doesn't happen from one day to the other. Because very often you will see people, they will say, yeah, but why not now? Because this is naturally, people always want to hear, and when they want something, they want it right now. And do you know whether whatever you want, it is beneficial for you? You don't know whether it is beneficial for you. But only when you have patience, that clarity will be given to you. But yes, he has spoken in that way. When we are ready to listen to the truth, you have that capacity, you have that knowledge to understand the truth also. Because you see, the truth is not, like I said earlier, you're not ready to listen to it, but also how to make yourself ready is only also by a certain knowledge. When you have educate yourself, you have feed your mind with a certain understanding, then it becomes clear. Then the Master can speak a different language with you. It is funny, a few days ago they were telling me, now when we are doing satsang, now the satsang is more deep, whatever, than before. But it's true. It's a different time and in different ways, that it is approached. So the same, like darshan is different, Before it was one-to-one darshan, and now it is through, how you call it? Online darshan. But doesn't mean that the blessing is not the same. You're receiving the same darshan. Because the expansion of the Master, which you hold inside of you, that's what is connected all of us. So understand that whatever the Master have given is always the truth from the beginning, whether you have understand it or not, was always given in a direct way. First it appeared indirectly because you were not ready for it, until one day you can understand that that was a direct answer. Sometimes, there is one time I have met one teacher, one disciple of a certain guru. I can't remember the name of the guru right now. This man had been with his guru for more than, I think, 30 years until the Master, the guru took a samadhi. The guru have never spoken one word, have never spoken like we are talking like that. And that person was saying, my guru have just told me one thing only, just to remember him, nothing else. So just that, throughout his life he have done that. Just think of the guru whatever he was doing. So until you understand, the guru itself, the guru will never talk directly. And because it's only when you can really handle that, you can really understand in deepness what he's doing for you, then the guru will give you something straight away.
Dear Guruji, is it wrong to use our fears as a motivation for our growth, or does it have negative side effects? For example, I'm afraid of being told off, therefore I behave nicely.
No, actually, it's not being afraid of being told off. Actually, what is happening, you see, very often you have to let go of certain things, If you don't change that, it's not being afraid of being told off, then you pretend to do something. Sometimes this is important. It takes this fear to transcend that which is stopping you. Otherwise, you will not look at it. If life, for you, you do whatever you want, okay, for example. There's no discipline. There is no, I would not say fear. I would say that it is a process of discipline. If for you it appeared as fear, actually it is a constant discipline of disciplining your mind. Because you see, like, if you have a certain things you're doing, naturally you would like to do it in an easy way. So in an office, for example, you are working, okay? There is a certain discipline in that office, and of course your boss expects you to have a certain result. Yes or no? So if you look at this result, is it what you want to give the result what you want to please your boss, or you want that the result be given according to what the work has been given to you? There is not an object of fear, but it's an object of disciplining yourself. Even if you think, yes, I have to do it so that the result be right, but at the same time I'm doing it also because I want to do it. You see, it sounds similar, but at the same time it's a bit different. In one, there is no fear of the boss, but you know very well that will have a negative impact upon yourself if you don't do it how it is meant to do. So in that context, you see, that fear, it is in a positive way. It is not a fear that will drag you down, but it's a fear that will discipline you and transform from where you are to something what you have to be. So it is not that it is stopping you or being different. No, you have to put discipline to yourself. When you discipline yourself, something becomes very routine to yourself, then it becomes natural. But until that, because of, like I was explaining earlier, the mind functions differently from what you really want, then of course, then there is fear inside. Then you perceive, yes, I'm doing something out of fear, and in place of doing it, but I'm doing something out of devotion.
Dear Guruji, I hear you often emphasize Sangha, but I genuinely love being alone and people often just annoy me. Is it a problem to be this way?
Well, look, Sangha is important, it's very important. But if your personality, you like to be alone, nobody is forcing you to be in a Sangha. So this is your personal, personal choice. If you want to be alone, nobody, it's quite. It's good to be alone also sometimes, So and when we talk about Sangha, we are not talking that you have to be constantly among the people. It's once a week. It is good to be among people, which share the same ideas as you, which have the same path. This is the importance of the Sangha itself. But if you are a loner, and you like to be alone, well, there is also, it's fine. You can also become a hermit. And you can retire yourself in a cave somewhere. It's nice. So it's up to you. This is a personal choice. Nobody is forcing anybody. So, but Sanghas is important, where you educate yourself and really strengthen each another also. So if you feel that you are strong enough, then you can be alone. It's fine.
Jai Gurudev Guruji, when I experience that bliss, that unshakable knowledge that you, my Guru, is with me always, the tears start pouring out of my eyes. When in public, people look at me funny and ask, "Why are you crying?" I don't know what to say, and then the feeling of bliss goes away. Can we learn to be in bliss and still function in the outside world?
You know, one thing is what in your question, what you said, you know, once you are in that state of bliss, it don't change. You know, it doesn't matter how people look at you. What people think about you, it doesn't matter. So once you are in that state of bliss, it keep growing. Even if you have to appear mad, like Mirabai said, you know, people don't understand me. They see me walking on the street, you know, in the lane, these little gullies, you know, like a mad woman. They don't understand in which state I am. So how can this go? Because this doesn't disappear just like that. It disappeared once you start to think how people think. Then you start to think, oh yeah, I'm appearing like crazy and people are judging me. You know, so to please people, then you change. So, you see, there is so many saints. You know, when you look at their life, you will see that they were always into that bliss. Some, they manifest it into the outside. It's not that because when you say that tears flowing, it's not that you want it to flow. It just happened. You know, these tears is nothing to do with, yes, I want to make a show, I want to show people that I'm crying. No, it just flows. So why should it be bothered? Why should this bother anybody? It should not bother anyone. But when you start bothering about what people are thinking, then you will lose that. You know, it went dormant because your mind is diverted toward the outside. The word, your mind is not diverted to the lotus feet of the Lord. You know, what gives you that blissful state itself. So, what I wanted to tell you into that, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, even if you are in public and tears are flowing. Because if you have that feeling awake inside of you, even if you appeared mad, it doesn't matter. You know, there is this beautiful story. I'm laughing right now because somebody made a video of me telling, I will tell you a beautiful story, and they have taken each time I say that, and they made a funny video. I have to stop saying that. There's a story of Janak. You know. So, you know, as Krishna said, Janak was a great king. And so one day, Janak was sleeping. And as he was sleeping, he was woke up by a god. And the god said, listen, there is a big fight, a battle happening. So quickly he jumped out from his bed and he rode on the horse and he went in front of the army and lead the army into the battlefield. So as he was leading, of course, eventually he was defeated in that battle. He was captured by another king, and that king have captured all his wealth, palace, everything. So he was rendered like a beggar. He was going from one place to the other, begging. So as he was begging, there were misfortune completely happening to him. And he could not understand why. So he was going from one village to the other. And he will go to ashram. So one day he went to an ashram and they were giving food. But when it come to his time, the food was finished. So what the person did, the person took some water and just grabbed the rest and gave him to eat. And as he took it, as he was ready to eat, something, he slipped, and that what was left fell down on the floor. So he was heartbroken. He said, even that, and he was crying, thinking of God. Said, God, what have I done to deserve that? At that moment, he woke up. He was still in his palace, on his bed, but he was in a state of confusion. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know which one was real. Was what he just dreamt was real, or this reality is real? So he will just say, is this real, or is that real? So that's it. So the guards came running, and they will say, they call the queen and everybody, the queen who came. They were all shocked to see him in the state. And of course, word went around, but the king is just saying, is this real or is that real? So when it reached the ears of one sage, Ashtavakra, he came and he asked the king, now you are in this luxurious place, you're enjoying this royal, you have this beautiful place itself. So when you didn't have anything, you were leading the army and you lose everything in the battle, and you were completely, ruined. So when the king heard that, he came back to his sense. So then he asked again the question, which one is real? So Ashtavakra asked him, said, look, my dear king, when you were fighting, was it real? He said, yes. When you were going begging, was it real? I said, yes. When you were ruined completely, you failed completely, was it real? He said, yes. And he said, and he said, now, but you are here. What, are we real? I said, yes. Are you real? I said, yes. So like that, he said, okay, for both is real, then I will ask you another question. So, if that what you dreamt was real, did you see it? I said, yes, I saw it. And what you're seeing now, are you seeing? I said, yes, I'm seeing. So he said, yes, so both is real and both is unreal. So what is real and what is unreal? Actually, it is the self which have experienced both reality. That what you call reality on the outside is not real. It is just an illusion, just like a dream, which when you are in that dream, everything appeared to be real. But in reality, it's not. It is just because of the mind itself, it is not reality. And it is the same thing here. When the consciousness stayed into a dormant state, of course everything else appeared as real. But when the consciousness awake itself, then the reality reveals itself. Then this becomes like a dream also. So, coming to your question, about if that bother me or not, just be yourself. You should not be concerned about what other people think about you, because everybody is in a state of dreaming, and everybody experiences the world in their own way. And if the tears are flowing out of devotion, let it flow, because the gift of tears is not given to everybody. The gift of singing is not given to everybody, because what is inside of you have been touched, but something deeper, and that is an expression of that tears. Let it flow. Now, very often you see people looking at trees. They praise, how beautiful is this tree. They look at the cloud and wondering how beautiful is this cloud. They forget that the painter who painted the cloud and the trees and everything that you see, it is even much more beautiful. So let this, what is inside of you, express itself. Don't be shy, and don't think, how people is thinking. This is the malady of the mind, the sickness of the mind, when you start to think what people think. So when you start to think what people think, then you stop living your life. Now this is the thing. Then you start to pretend to please others. Then you can't be free. You can't be who you are. Then you can't even accept yourself. Then when you can't accept yourself, how do you expect others to accept you? And also, if others don't accept you, it doesn't matter, because the moment you accept yourself, it becomes irrelevant of how other people see you and what people think about you. You will bother about what people think about you only when you are not in peace with yourself. When you are not in harmony and you are not accepting how you are. The moment you accept how you are, it doesn't matter about other people. So just be how God have created you. Learn to accept, and if He is expressing, your inner self is expressing that devotion, through the tears of love, let it be. Like it said, the saint always say, if you don't call the Lord with tears, He don't come. So, Jai Gurudev.